Hey guys, it's me, Rich. I have a question to ask. You're being told that this question is dangerous, forbidden, even hateful, and that alone should make you stop and pay attention. This video is about you, your country, and the rules that decide who actually runs society. Today, we're asking a question elites panic over because they know where it leads. Is Islam compatible with Western values? We're going to break down law, speech, equality, and power, and why the argument is never answered honestly. But what you'll soon find out is why this debate is always shut down before it even starts. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to RPW Media, where the truth isn't censored, patriotism isn't mocked, and your voice still matters. Look, if you like our videos and you haven't done so already, you should become a subscriber to the channel. You can hit the notification bell and smack that like button because it helps us get our message out to more people, and you will be notified every time we put out a new video. Thank you. All right, let's talk about a question nobody in power or the media once asked out loud. Is Islam compatible with Western values? Now, notice what usually happens when that question comes up. The argument never gets answered, ever. Instead, the speaker gets labeled, motives are attacked, the conversation ends right there, and that should tell you something. If the answer were simple, they would answer it, trust me. But they never do. They attack, they insult, and now they're punishing people. This is not about Muslims as people. Fact checkers! Millions of Muslims live peacefully in the West. They do. They work jobs, raise families, and follow the law. They deserve equal protection like everyone else. This is about Islam as a system and subsequently Muslims who live by Islamic law and not the laws under the Western values of their host countries. And systems matter, right? Western civilization is built on a very specific idea. Law comes from the people, not priests, not prophets, people. Laws can be debated. Laws can be changed. Authority flows upward from citizens. Belief is personal. The state governs behavior, not conscience. That separation, guys, is the whole point. Islam does not share that foundation, though. Islam is not just a private faith. It is a complete governing framework. Law, politics, religion, and social order are all fused together. Sharia is not symbolic. It is meant to rule real societies. Its authority does not come from voters. It comes from divine command, if you will. Those two models collide immediately. Here's the part nobody wants you to say out loud. You cannot have divine law and secular law governing the same society without massive conflicts. One must ultimately be supreme or there will be problems, as we are seeing all over the world. Western civilization only works when secular law holds that authority. When large numbers of people enter Western societies from Islamic countries, friction is inevitable because Islam is not merely a religion. It is a comprehensive legal and political system that directly conflicts with Western values. Now, just ask anyone from the UK, from France, from any other European country who foolishly allowed millions of Muslims into their country without vetting them to see if they want to assimilate to their culture while remaining Muslim. Now, some scholars are calling it the Islamic spread, where millions of Muslims enter a country for the purpose of taking it over. Oh, they don't tell you that in the beginning. In America, we call that an invasion. Then there's individual rights. In the West, rights belong to the individual. You can join a religion. You can leave one if you want. Your legal standing does not change based upon your belief. In Islamic tradition, identity is communal. They don't let those Jews or those Christians in. Religion defines social belonging. Apostasy is not treated as a private choice in classical Islamic law. Blasphemy is not just speech. It is treated as an attack on order itself. Western freedom depends on the right to exit. Islamic continuity depends on discouraging exit. That difference isn't cosmetic, guys. It is foundational. Look at speech. Western free speech exists to protect unpopular ideas, even offensive ones. No belief system is immune from criticism. That is how open societies stay open and free. Islam, on the other hand, does not operate that way. The Quran and the Prophet they're beyond criticism in orthodox doctrine. I mean, think about this. Offense is treated as harm. Harm is treated as justification for suppression, sometimes violence, sometimes censorship, sometimes death. This helps explain why England has gone to extraordinary lengths to censor speech critical of Islam. After a sustained influx of Muslim refugees, public officials now treat open discussion as a threat rather than a necessity, even as many British folks openly question whether their own culture is being allowed to survive at all. Now, that isn't accidental. It is ideological collision. Then there is equality under the law. Western systems insist on legal equality. Same courts, same rights, same standards. Now, the Democratic Party here no longer believes in those standards, but the overwhelming majority of Americans still do. Traditional Islamic jurisprudence does not. Men and women are not legally equal. Testimony is not equal. Testimony. Inheritance is not equal. Muslims and non-Muslims are not treated the same under classical frameworks. This is why, for me, it is asinine when I see liberals defend and support Islam as if it's just another religion. Queers for Palestine, for example, is a group associated with LGBTQ, and it makes no sense that they support Palestine. Unwittingly, they're saying, we'll die for Islam, because LGBTQ is not going to get any compassion for Muslims who adhere to Islamic law. It never made sense to me. You can modernize behavior. You can't reinterpret texts. But the underlying structure remains. Pluralism is another fault line. Western pluralism requires neutrality. The state does not rank beliefs. It protects the right to hold beliefs. Islam, on the other hand, asserts finality. It is understood as the last and complete revelation. Other beliefs may be tolerated, but they are not equal in principle. This is why so many Britons are increasingly at odds with their own government. Many see a system that no longer treats beliefs equally, but instead ranks them. And in that hierarchy, Islam appears to receive protection and preference, while Christianity is being perceived as being pushed aside or openly marginalized. People are being arrested in the UK for tweets seen as offensive to Islam. Tolerance is not pluralism. Pluralism requires hierarchy. So when does this become a real problem? When religion stops being private. When doctrine becomes political. When parallel legal norms appear. When speech restrictions are justified by religious offense. When assimilation into secular civic culture is rejected. Western societies cannot survive with multiple legal systems. There must be one law applied equally, and it must be secular. Guys, this is not hatred or hostility. This is about setting boundaries. Why is Islam permitted to define limits within Western societies while the host nations themselves are told that they have no right to do the same? How asinine is that? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Islam, as a comprehensive religious and political system, conflicts with Western values of individual liberty, free speech, equality before the law, and secular governance. Compatibility depends entirely on which system is allowed to prevail. Tolerance without limits is not tolerance at all. It is surrender masquerading as virtue. A free society survives by defending its rules, not apologizing for them. Honest debate is not hate. Self-preservation is not bigotry. It's self-preservation, which every human being has a right to in their own culture. The upside is simple. When Western nations remember who they are and enforce one secular law equally across all peoples, freedom survives. All right, so tell me what you guys think about this in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.